Hello and welcome to another FillQuick tutorial video. And in this video, I'm going to be discussing our actions logging feature. Now, this actions logging feature is quite a unique one. You see, as you start to use your software and all your other users, such as sales reps, technicians, secretaries, financial admins, and when they start using the software, FillQuick on the back end is actually tracking the changes that are made to customer accounts. So to start, let me explain, why you would even use this. If perhaps you want to go and take a look at who did what on a specific account, you can actually see that. Now, the 4 different places that we have this action logs is number 1, on an actual customer, 2, on an actual lead, 3, on services, and 4, globally. So which means on all your account basis. And I'm going to show you how you can search for each of these and actually see what's going on. Okay, to start, let me also explain that the person who's going to be able to see these action logs is that of which who has the user privilege of a financial administrator. Now, the first one I want to show you is how you see the action logs on a lead. So if you head over to leads and go to the list of leads, for example, here you'll see the list of leads at our company. Well, if I were to click in on this customer Moon Chadwell, you'll see that we have an actions log tab at the top of this page over here. Now, if I were to click on this, this is going to show me the action logs that are happening on this specific lead. Okay, so here, as we see, this user, sample seller number 1, and the date and time this person did this, they changed the entity. It says change the pipeline stage. Okay, so they changed the stage of the pipeline. Well, here you'll actually see the pipeline stage was the field that was modified, and the old value was lead in, which is what we actually have as one of our pipeline stages, and the new value, meaning what they changed it to, was meeting arranged. Lead in and meeting arranged is basically what we have. If I go back over here, you see as our personal that we built out in this demo server, the stages in this lead pipeline. So if you had whatever name you called your pipeline and you were to go to the action logs and a salesperson moved that lead along the pipeline, you would see the person's date and time they actually did this action and what it was on. So if we scroll through, you'll even see they updated the lead information. So this secretary at this date and time updated the lead information. That's the action she did. And as you see, it says the old value, meaning we didn't have any of this. And here was the new value. So she added this information to the actual account. These are all the actions that happened on this lead. So let's go to the customer and go to an account list, for example. And let's just pull up any customer. And I'm going to show you the action logs on this customer. So now that we're entering into this customer and I were to look at the top here where it says action logs, let's click on it. Now I actually see on this specific customer all the actions that were being tracked, okay, on this customer. So this is basically, as you see, updated the setup fees and monitoring. This sample secretary, that's the username in our demo server at this date and time. What happened? She changed the field from monitoring status from not submitted to online and in service. And then over here, as we see, the technician finalized the install. So as you see, when you're on the customer's account page, and you go to the action logs, you actually see more things, more changes that were made to this customer. Now, one thing I want to get you familiar with is if on this customer, okay, you go to the actions log, you will see you can filter by a specific user, for example. Like maybe I want to see what did the technician do on this customer. Hit the search and it'll pull only all the logs that the technician did on this customer. And as you see, the customer switched from two-way voice yes to two-way voice no. He also entered the installation confirmation number. You could see the old values, what was done before the technician actually went and finalized his work order. And then after he finalized his work order, all the values that were changed to these of which he inputted this data into FillQuick. Okay, so that's the user. You can go and select by individual user. Let's click on this so we see all users. Also, perhaps you want a specific, maybe perhaps, you want to see who switched on this customer's account. Perhaps, somebody updated the email and you wanted to search that. Now, if anybody updated the email address like we have over here, this secretary on this date and this time updated, as you can see, the email. The old value, we didn't have any. The new value, this is what it was. So you're able to filter by the actual field itself. Lastly, I want to explain the description. So let's just go over here and let's select back to the all so we can see everything. The description is gonna filter by the descriptors such as these: updated setup fees and monitoring, finalized install, as you can see if we scroll through, accepted and completed customer. So maybe I want to see, just the completed customer. I'll type in completed customer. And let's hit the search. As you will see, it'll show you the action log, accepted and completed the customer. So do play around with your FillQuick action logs on the customer and read through these actual descriptors. Updated setup fees and monitoring. Maybe you want to see what happened to the setup fees and monitoring. So I would just type in, for example, setup fees and then hit the enter, and it would instantly filter by that. Okay, so that's a good example. If I delete that and hit the search, it'll re-show me all the actual action logs on this customer. Okay, so now I want to show you the services on customers, the action logs for services on customers. So let's just perhaps say, a customer's calling in and his name is Mark. I go over here and type in Mark. Instantly, it scans our database, and we have Mark Farmer and we have Mark Berry. Well, let me go into the customer Mark Farmer and then go over to the services tab over here. Okay, well, now I see there was a previous service history on this customer. If I go into the details on this customer, we now are on this service ticket, okay, that the technician did on this customer. We have an actions log up here at the top on this service ticket. So if I clicked on it, it would now show me all the action logs on this specific service. So do note, these service ticket action logs are completely separate from the actual account logs, because a lot of times you want to see just some of the action logs or the action logs that happened on this service itself. You can go through here and see that it was finalized by this technician, the date and time. This was the old values and he switched it to these. And do keep in mind, okay, you still have these exact same filters. So you're able to filter by, maybe you only want to see what the secretary or the technician, for example, search did on this service. And you'll be able to filter by that. And the same thing as the fields like I discussed earlier on in this video. Lastly, I want to show you the global actions log. Here, if we click on action log on the side, this is going to open up to where you can actually scan company-wide, globally, your accounts on what happened basically on which customer. So let me explain. First of all, maybe you want to see a specific user, like what did this salesperson do, all the actions this salesperson did, and I hit the search button. It's going to show me in chronological order. It's going to show me exactly what this salesperson did. And you can go through the logs like this. Maybe perhaps you only want to see what that person did within the last week from the 30th, and maybe perhaps at a set time like 3:00 p.m. and search all the way to today at this time. Okay, well, it's going to pull up exactly the action logs that this person did. As you see, this sales rep changed the pipeline status, well, from what lead in to contact made on this customer. And yes, you can even open up this actual lead. It'll open up in a new tab, this lead action, and I'll be able to get over directly to that lead over here. Okay, so that's one way you can use this global search. Now, another way, let's just go back and refresh this, and let's even delete the date just to show you more. You can filter by the actual entity type. Maybe you want to see, all the services directly and as well that were modified by this technician. So this technician and the entity type is service. So let's hit the search. Now it's going to show all the action logs that this technician did on service tickets directly over here. Also, the description, you can filter even more. Remember, we talked about the descriptors like finalized services, added a service note. Like maybe I just wanted to see note. So I'll type in note over here and hit the actual search. and it'll show all the notes that the technician actually updated. And of course, like I said, you can right click, go open in a new tab, or just click on that actual link and it'll instantly take you over to where you can see what that technician actually did. Okay, one last thing I wanted to point out is FillQuick allows you to have the last 10,000 action logs for free, which means we're going to log 10,000 action logs for you. And as you reach the 10,000 mark, well, what's going to happen is it's going to delete the oldest and give you the newest one. So you're going to constantly be at 10,000. Now, some people want to have more than 10,000 action logs. That's fine. You could just request an increase in your limit, support@FillQuick.com. Just email them and say, hey, I want another 10,000 action logs, and they'll give you the actual pricing on it. It's not a lot, but in order for us to host these action logs, you just need to request support@FillQuick.com, an email, send a request to increase your limit to 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 as you please. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you found it very useful. If you have any questions, like always, feel free to reach out to our support team. That is support@FillQuick.com. Have a wonderful day.